What's going on, you guys? I'm Brandon, and the PS4.5? Ugh. So the PS4.5 is looking to be more like a thing. Actually, the code name Neo is what they're calling it. It's going to be priced at $399, and there isn't a release date for it, although Sony is telling their game developers to, preface games to be able to be upscaled. Sony's Neo, aka the PS4.5 spec sheet has leaked out, and I felt like Neo in the Matrix when I saw him. I was like, what? So it's definitely something to look forward to in the future, and here are some of the specs. The current PS4 has 8 Jaguar cores clocked at 1.6, AMD GCN 18 CUs at 800 megahertz, and 8 gigabytes of GDDR5 equaling 176 gigabytes. The Neo CPU is 8 Jaguar cores clocked at 2.1 gigahertz. The new Neo GPU is an AMD GCN 36 CUs at 911 megahertz. The memory is buffed up as well. 8 gigabytes of GDDR5 RAM at 218 gigabytes. It will also be able to upscale 1080p graphics to 4K resolution. More on 4K in a second. I think the biggest upgrade for the Neo is the frame rate, and there isn't any restrictions on what it is going to be, but however, it can't be anything less than what we have on the PS4 today. 4K isn't really optimized for the world right now. I mean, the only thing that really takes advantage of 4K is gaming. Other than that, I mean, you have Netflix streams in 4K, but a lot of the ecosystem that we are in terms of viewing things isn't really 4K out right now. 4K is really a waste of money for me right now. I do feel as though when we start seeing a lot of programs broadcast in 4K, shot natively in 4K, then will be the time to hop on the bandwagon. I mean, as you can see now, prices are being slashed left and right, and I really have a feeling that that's because people saw 4K and it amazed them, but there's no real need to have 4K right now. It's kind of superfluous. There really just isn't that many programs that you can watch in 4K that aren't like on the super end of the technological side, and that's why I say gaming right now is a big thing. But outside of gaming, being able to upscale games, on the PC, Xbox and PS4 don't play 4K games natively, so that's predominantly what people use as their media system. Now, it will be rocking a hard drive disk, which I feel is slightly unfortunate. But I do understand how if they switch to an SSD, how it could be a little bit more expensive. I mean, because right now the price is $399, which is very competitive with their regular PS4s, because those are at $350. So it's very competitively priced. I see why some people are upset, but I mean, nobody, complains that, Apple and Samsung, HTC, all these companies that release phones every year, and the upgrades really aren't even that important. Some of the upgrades set the cell phone back, because this is just not really optimized. Do you really want to wait another 6, 7, 8 years for the next console to come out? The big thing that console players say about PC gamers is that they don't have to upgrade their specs or whatever. And I definitely don't want to turn this into a debate, which is better between the Xbox One, PS4, and PC. I would like to point out though, however, how long have PC gamers been playing at 4K 60 frames a second? Now, I know that is, extremely stressful on their computer, but I mean, essentially, whatever you're willing to pay will get you what you want. So, and I do know that the PS4 is a fraction. PS4 and Xbox One are a fraction of the price of a gaming PC, but it's just something to think about. So Sony did tell their developers that the minimum for what they should be shooting for in frame rate is what is already available on the PS4. And the spec sheet that that you see on the screen right here isn't something that is like earth-shattering or anything like that. In fact, it's just a small bump. Personally, I think it's geared towards VR, because VR is extremely demanding. It really makes you think about if the upgrade is really necessary, because PS4 games are optimized and run so well. And this new PS4 coming out is gonna run even better in a way. And it really just makes you think, like, isn't this something that Microsoft should be doing with their Xbox? And I know it's looking like, you know, they might be giving up on the console wars or whatever. But if you think about it, Xbox can't run 1080p for 60 frames a second. Yeah, I'm talking to you. It can't run 1080p 60 frames a second. Now, I did play the Doom beta, and that's a whole nother video. I will say that I was not impressed by the graphics, but it was refreshing. I've never played a game that worked that quickly before. I mean, it's just fast-paced, everything. And I'm not a gaming PC user, so I rarely get to see 1080p 60 frames a second, and the Doom beta had that, and I thought it was really fun. It was really engaging. I know it's getting bashed in a lot of places, but I suggest that, well, you can't try it for yourself anymore because the beta is now gone, but just look at the gameplay and try to be objective. You know, I had a lot of fun playing it, but again, I was the only one out of all my friends that were playing it that enjoyed it, so maybe it says more about me than it does the game. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was engaging. I thought it was fun, and I thought it was, you know, shooters that you don't really see anymore. You know, not so many shooters are this, that, and this. It was just really nice to see a shooter that just retarded all that stuff down and was just strictly about, you know, going forward. I enjoyed it. Sony's pushing for, you know, let's say 30 frames a second, 4K. That's miles in front of what Xbox can do right now in terms of, you know, 720, 30 frames a second. You know, it struggles at that. Now, I haven't played the beta yet for Gears of War 4 because I'm making this video. It's on my Xbox right now. I really can't wait to play it. As soon, yes. Whoa. I guess I pissed off my Xbox. So, not to get off track or anything, but I do feel like this PS4 is geared for virtual reality. That's my personal opinion on it, because the upgrades aren't that significant. But I do feel like they're enough to make the system run even more optimized, because it's optimized for what it does, but I don't necessarily feel like it's created to run virtual reality. And if you see the spec sheets of what the HTC Vive and all these other virtual reality headsets need, it could be in question whether or not the PS4 can run that. So I do feel like the slight bump is just to give a little bit extra breathing room for the console, because it doesn't have all this extra crap running in the background like the Xbox has. Also, Sony has told their developers not to make any incentives to move to the PS4.5 because they want everything to be equal across the board in terms of available content in video games. So if you do move on if you do upgrade, you won't be getting extra skins or whatever, or levels for having that. The PSN network store, everything will be the same across the board. If you log in for the PS4, when you log into the PS4.5/Neo, everything is the same. So that's all I have for you guys. I appreciate you watching this video. And share this with anybody that's thinking about getting a PS4, because the Neo is right around the corner. And smash that like button in the face. He was talking about my mama earlier. I don't appreciate that. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.